I've asked our resident mum to say a few words to us. For those of you who go, what? Missionary of Mercy, Father Richard, who has spent the last 7 years, extending the Pope's graciousness as a minister of mercy throughout these lands to speak. Welcome.
While watching our television news on Sunday night, we did not realize that the images of Francis on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica and driving through the square would be the final ones we would see of him alive. We could see that clearly he was frail, unwell. But what a model of pastoral service, of pastoral duty to his beloved flock, his sheep, reminding us of our final images of Queen Elizabeth II, commissioning Liz Truss as her final Prime Minister at Balmoral Castle 2 days before she died in 2022. After 12 years of leading us, God called him quickly and peacefully home on Monday morning. Twice I had the privilege to be in his presence, and it is that experience that I want to share with you today. You remember that in 2016, Pope Francis declared a Jubilee Year of Mercy. And on Shrove Tuesday, 1,000 of his special missionaries of mercy gathered in Rome to hear his instructions to us. In the Sala Regia, a most glorious auditorium room in the Vatican apartments, 3-4 times the size of our cathedral. But imagine that every centimetre of the walls and the ceiling were covered in glorious frescoes. He began with these words: "As missionaries of mercy, you are to express the maternity of the Church. The Church is a mother because she offers conversion in a welcoming and loving way. We are all called to be a living expression of the Church as a mother who welcomes all." I remember sitting there, listening to my audio-visual device, to his words being translated into English. And I was utterly gobsmacked at the words, the maternity of the Church. The Church is a mother who welcomes all. Of course, I then realized we always refer to the Church as she, never as he. Coming from South America, where there is such deep devotion to Mary, the mother of Jesus, and given the love that he had for his grandmother, who brought him up while his parents were at work, his words were understandable. Next day, being Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, it was his general audience in St. Peter's Square. And having circled the crowd slowly in the Pope-mobile, he alighted near the chair where he was to sit. And on the large television screens around the square, we could see that he walked first towards the stretcher of a sick person. He stopped beside the stretcher. And what I saw then still deeply touches me. He gently stroked the hand of that person, and then he caressed their cheek. God forgives with a caress, not with a decree. Words that he had spoken in preparation for the year of mercy. 2 years later, on the 11th of April 2018, Francis received the Missionaries of Mercy in that same stunning room. And after his words to us, we were told to form a line. He then met us, one by one, and there were at least 800 of us. So as I was waiting my turn, I kept thinking, I'll probably have 20 seconds, maybe 30 seconds with him. What will I say? Perhaps not a good idea to speak in English, because maybe my Australian accent will have him puzzled. So I thought I would say 2 words in Italian. I would simply say, Jesuiti Australia, Australian Jesuit. Well, I said that, and he looked puzzled. But behind him was standing Archbishop Rino Fisichella, who was in charge of the Missionaries of Mercy, and I had met him. He knew me, and he knew where I came from. And as quick as a flash, he simply said one word in Italian, famiglia, family. And suddenly Francis went, "Ah!" And he understood what I was trying to say. The photo taken in that moment shows something most striking. You can see clearly that whenever Francis met someone, that person was fully the focus of his attention. It was as if you were the most important person to him in that moment. As we gather to pray in thanks for his 12 years of unstinting service to us, we recall that he was the member of a family. Once he left for the conclave in 2013, his family never saw him again in Argentina. He was the member of a religious family, the Jesuits. We Jesuits have lost a much-loved brother. He was a priest and bishop. He was our Pope. Alas, Francis never had the opportunity to visit us. But last year he came close when he touched down in Timor-Leste. On Wednesday, in an interview, our own Cardinal John Dew spoke of how whenever he was in Rome on matters of business and would literally in a corridor run into Pope Francis, Francis would always ask, "How is New Zealand. We were not forgotten.